Well, everyone, as you know, yesterday was a super blue moon. And I'm sure, like me, if you were looking up there, you were looking up at the moon yesterday, there would have been that feeling of pride in you, that there's a little piece of India up there on the moon. So that moment of pride leads me to our very special next guest. For all of you fellow enthusiasts of science, of leadership, and space exploration, please allow me to introduce the remarkable Dr. Jitendra Singh, a name synonymous with excellence, with innovation, with dedication. Dr. Singh serves as a beacon of inspiration in the realm of science, governance, and space achievements. He is the Union Minister of State, independent charge for the Ministry of Science and Technology. He is Minister of State in the Prime Minister's Office, Ministry of Personnel, Public Grievances and Pensions, Department of Atomic Energy, and the Department of Space. Dr. Jitendra Singh embodies a rare blend of scientific acumen and administrative prowess. His multifaceted role underscores his unwavering commitment to shaping a brighter future for India and beyond, exemplified, of course, by his leadership during India's historic Chandrayaan mission. Please put your hands together for for Dr. Jitendra Singh coming up to join us.
Thank you. At the outset, I think thank you for the beautiful introduction. I don't know whether I deserve it, but I like to trust it, believe what is said about me. Thank you, very kind of you. I'm indeed delighted to be here this afternoon for more than one reasons. A, that it has been an association with the Amazon Annual Summit, which has sustained over the years. I was here last year also. I think that was something called Smbhav Entrepreneurship Challenge. And then a year before last for the keynote address. So I'm glad I'm able to maintain this consecutive, successive relationship. And I'm also delighted because this is happening close on the heels of Chandrayaan, as was being mentioned. So the entire mood is buoyant all across the country, across the nation, all sections. And every Indian is looking up with excitement, amusement at anything that is directly or indirectly related with science, technology, innovation. So there's not only enthusiasm, there's also a sense of esteem and sense of pride and looking at what happens next with a huge degree of awe. And now we have the Aditya coming out day after. And as I said, I'm delighted for more than reasons. This is also precisely the time when Prime Minister Narendra Modi has completed 9 years as the head of the government at the center and has been reiterating all across as far as the science, technology, innovation and startups. Synergy or integration amongst the various stakeholders, the R&D, the startups, the academia, the researchers, the industry, because all of us would agree that the era of silos is over, and if we have to grow from here onwards, it has to be a holistic growth. So it has to be an integrated growth. And I can see the demarcation between the private and the public vanishing away. And in the spirit of that thought, it's quite encouraging, quite reassuring to see that Amazon is actually working in that direction and has the potential, if I may say in a single sentence, has the potential to integrate technology with the business dynamics. So you are performing a task which is also very high on the priority of the government's approach towards promoting science-driven economy, technology-driven economy through entrepreneurship startups. And I believe when the Amazon CEO, Mr. Andy Jassy, had called on Prime Minister Modi, there was also reference to the grassroots logistics. And apparently, the work is happening in that direction at the behest of Amazon. So that makes the bond all the more supplemented and fruitful. I was just now going through the exhibits, the AI-driven digital assistants. And when I was displaying, my first thought was, I asked the boy displaying that, I said, what would happen to you? Would you be required anymore a few years later? Because everything is happening on its own. So you won't have the seller there, you won't have the buyer there. Maybe the same app would be available on your mobile, so you can operate from your place wherever you are. But I'm glad that at least Amazon has made a headway in that. So one of the first to get initiated into that. And I was also told about the partnership that you have engaged with the railways to encourage, to make it easy for the MSMEs, for the delivery, even through that virtual walkthrough, and also with the post. So I think all this is eventually going to take us a step forward in the direction of what we call as the ease of doing business, particularly for the MSMEs, which are the greatest stakeholders and also the potential beneficiaries of all the activity undertaken by the Amazon. India today, you would agree, is an upward march, and I think one of the best times happening as far as entrepreneurship is concerned. Over the last 9 years, the number of startups has gone up from 350 to about 125,000 or so. So it's an amazing quantum leap. And the world is recognizing it. Today we stand at number 3 as far as the startup ecosystem is saying. So what I'm saying is not what I'm saying or the government saying or anybody saying out of any subjective bias. It's the world global parameters. And obviously so, because if we have to grow further from here, we have to live up to the global parameters. We have to prove ourselves on the global parameters, global indices, and we have to prepare ourselves. We have to be ready to meet the global competition, to enable ourselves to ensure for ourselves a global role or a global lead. So these are the international standards which are hailing India's quantum journey. And the entire journey is going to be technology-driven, as is for every other nation of the world today. Similarly, in the Global Innovation Index, we were 81, we jumped 41 places, we are now 40. So this is again a parameter which is laid down by others, not by us. In economy, we are already fastest growing economy at number 5. And many of us get some kind of a pleasure when they realize that you have overtaken the United Kingdom, even after so many years of having gone through what we went through. And now you are looking forward to be at number 3. As far as the space is concerned, because a lot of attention, energy, and talk being occupied by our activities in the space sector of late, ever since this Chandrayaan came into the scene. You would recall where we started off. We started off from a very primitive stage when countries like USA and the Soviet Union were already on the verge of landing a human being on the surface of the moon. And we were just singing nursery rhymes, Chanda Mama Dur Ke, etc. And in 1960 or so, we were so devoid of resources that persons like our founding fathers, like Sarabhai, were constrained to carry the launchers on the carriage of the bicycle. But that only goes on to prove that there was no dearth of human talent or human potential or the capacity to work, the capacity to put in labor, or also the capacity to dream high. What was possibly lacking was resources available through the policy planning quarters or the kind of prioritization that should have happened at the level of the political or the ruling dispensation at the time. And that has been made up after Modi came in in 2014. It's miraculous, I think, is going to be one of the biggest highlights in the recent times, that the space sector, which was forbidden for everybody, is now open to everybody. I mean, till about 2014 or even recently till 2019. And why I'm saying so is that I think someday this would be a matter of research, a matter of study for some of the scholars. Why this quantum jump happened? How did it happen? It happened because we had actually made ourselves prisoner of our own imposed, self-imposed barriers, self-imposed shackles. We were working behind a veil of secrecy. Nobody was allowed to peep inside the gates of the Sriharikota. Occasionally, a launching happened, and you would see in a remote corner of a newspaper a single column news of a satellite launch happened or a rocket being launched, and nobody could figure out where actually the Sriharikota is. So it's become almost like a public place. That day when the Chandrayaan was launched on the 14th of July, we had as many as about more than 1,000 media persons at a place which media was never allowed. We had thousands of boys and girls from colleges and schools. We had people from all walks of life, even including politicians and ministers from down Punjab to Telangana and Kerala. So that is also the reason the entire nation owns up now every mission and looks at it as its own mission. But on the other side, in the context of the subject that we are talking today, it has generated huge amount of financial resource as well. The industry is there willing to invest. It was there, but it was not allowed to happen till the space sector got unlocked 4 years back. Again, with a very courageous decision taken by Prime Minister Modi. We just had about 3 or 4 startups. Today we have more than 150, just within 3 years. And some of them are also turning into entrepreneurs, which will, very soon, I think they will be soliciting assistance and support from agencies like Amazon as well. We are just about 8 billion economy. And our conservative projection says that we started moving faster, so we'll be possibly 40 billion by 2040. But only the other day, I think 2 days back, I was reading the ALD report, which is supposed to be quite a credible report, Arthur Little report, which mentions that we could go up to 100 billion. So the other countries have a higher evaluation of the pace at which we are rising, though we may be conservative in judging ourselves. So all this has happened in the last few years, and that's why I say this is one of the best times for all of us to join together in this collaboration. Our bioeconomy, which was an unexplored sector, was just about 10 billion value, 10 billion USD value till 10 years back. It's now 80 billion. We go up to 100 billion, that is 150 billion by 2025. That's the projection. And whole lot of these unexplored sectors. This is the whole bioeconomy. And I tell you, when you're talking of MSMEs and you're talking of collaboration, these are the unexplored sectors which are going to add value to India's economy. The huge Himalayas, which remain unexplored. We have 3-4 states lying in the lap of Himalayas. Himachal, Uttarakhand, Arunachal, Jammu Kashmir. We started a Roma mission and given the world what is now described popularly as the Purple Revolution. Even now we have about 3,000 agri-startups. Agri-startup is something which is quite exclusive to India. Unfortunately, we got stuck up in the IT because the concept of startup came from there and landed in Bengaluru, which was a city of ITs. We thought it's all about IT. But no 2 words in English language mean the same. So our exclusive domain is agri-startups. And these boys and girls who are making a fortune out of it, as I said, the lavender entrepreneurship, the Roma entrepreneurship, many of them are not even graduates. May not be even the science scholars. So these are exclusive domains. The ocean domain, we have 7,500 long kilometer coastal line, longest in the world. We are known as Indian Ocean, no other world. Australia is a country, an island, and a continent. But the ocean is not known as Australian Ocean because our forefathers realized the wealth lying inside the ocean. And it's only 2 years back we started this mission called Samudrayaan and the deep sea mission which Prime Minister announced on the ramparts of Red Fort. And very soon when we start exploring the metals, the biodiversity, the minerals lying at the bed of the sea, there's going to be a huge, huge value addition in bulk to India's economy. So these are some of the new areas which are waiting to be explored, which had not been explored so far. And when we talk of the goal of 5 trillion economy, I'm sure the collaboration with agencies like Amazon and all the other stakeholders is going to make it possible. Because when you engage all these stakeholders, you also start thinking of the Himalayas, you also start thinking of the oceans, you also start thinking of those assets which remained where they were, and you were just aping the ITs and the foreign preferences. And therefore, as India emerges as one of the fastest growing innovation-led economies, I'm sure this collaboration has an important role to play as a bridge between the private and the public sector, between the government and the industry, and most of all, between the capacity resources and the MSMEs, because many of the MSMEs are devoid of the kind of capacity that they require, which may not be financial essentially, but the otherwise, and also the kind of awareness. The other day, I was in one of the MSME expos, and they displayed a stall with electric buses. So I asked the entrepreneur there, I said, why don't you enter into hydrogen also? He said, we are not aware, is it being handled somewhere? So I told him, we have in Pune, we've come out with the first indigenous hydrogen-driven bus in the National Chemical Lab, Pune, the famous lab there, over there. So we have so much happening in India, but we are not aware of it, because we have got stuck in the priorities which are dictated by others. And we never actually had the aptitude to look at what was essentially Indian. And when we talk of Atmanirbhar Bharat, it's not merely a slogan, it actually has a deep, essential essence. And therefore, when I say it's interesting time, it's also interesting because the mood I see in this room today could not have been imagined about 15 years back. A whole lot of youngsters over there. That's also because there's a gradual shifting away of the mindset and the mood from the Sarkari Naukari. If these boys and girls were sitting here about 20 years back, their parents would be calling them, ask them to get home back, prepare for the exam, for the next competition to enter into services. Today, there is an awareness that we have avenues outside Sarkari Naukari, which could be much, much more lucrative. And the Rozgar or the employment does not essentially mean Sarkari. So that's also because we took 3 generations to get out of that feudal colonial mindset, which was ingrained in us. So, as a whole, the milieu is supportive, the mood is supportive, the government patronage is easily forthcoming. And that's why I said it's one of the best times, and I would conclude by just making a small submission and a suggestion, if it could be found feasible by the management of the MSME, that you are in a big way supporting the MSMEs, but you could also look forward to creating MSMEs. So young MSMEs with young entrepreneurs. Because we have a population of 70% below the age of 40, and they are the ones who are going to live for the next 25 years to see the dawn of 2047. So how far could we actually contribute in creating this new generation in diverse fields, moving also outside all those traditional fields that we have been working, and also giving ourselves the satisfaction of having contributed to the making of Century India in 2047. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for being patient with me.
Request you to just wait on the stage. Thank you so much, sir, for such an inspiring address. And you're right, there's a lot that needs to be done. But to have the government emphasizing innovation and entrepreneurship and science, I think that's where that's really becomes a source of inspiration and a catalyst for change. I'd just like to invite Mr. Russell Gardinetti and Mr. Manish Tiwari to please come up and join us on the stage. I also call upon Srimati Manju Kumar, the Chief Postmaster General, Delhi Circle, to join us. Can I now request the Honourable Minister of State, Shri Jitendra Singh, to release the Amazon corporate stamp presented by the Chief Postmaster General. And can I request Manju Kumarji to please present the first album to the, there. Thank you so much, sir. Yes, sir. Anytime. Look forward to catching. Yeah.